What's up, family? Hey, I want to talk to you guys about something this morning. It's almost 4 o'clock Tuesday morning. Let's say it's December 1st. It only takes one moment, one split second, one decision to completely transform your life. That's all it takes. One split second, one decision, and it can transform your life. 2020 has been a very interesting year. And I use the phrase interesting lightly. In America, we've seen this pandemic shut down the economy, shut down all entertainment, shut down every school, the churches, restaurants. We've seen people, millions of people, lose their job, businesses. We've seen a lot of people die alone because of this. We've seen graduations canceled. Summer vacation trips, everything canceled. We've seen mass riots, protests. We've seen the ugliness of racism and the entitlement that goes along with it. And yet, there's still love. In the midst of all this ugliness, in the midst of all this darkness, in the midst of all this chaos, the sun always shines. The sun always rises. All it takes is one split second to transform your life. One decision to change your life. In the midst of all this craziness in America, there's a young lady that I went to school with. We first met as freshmen. It's like back in 1984. I'm old. It was 1984 when we first met. And I had this crush on this young lady. My first real major crush, and I was really digging this young lady. She didn't really know it. I tried to explain it to her. And we were walking home one day, and she had on some white tennis shoes, some green jeans, and this white, thin windbreaker. And I was explaining to her how much I liked her and all that stuff, right? And her sister came and just messed up everything, all my plans, everything. And the next day, she wouldn't even talk to me. She wouldn't even look at me. Every time I would try to talk to her, she would just put her head down and just turn around and walk away. Seriously. And I talked to her about that now, and she don't remember it. None of that. And I tell her, it's like, you don't remember because it's just a normal day. It's no big deal to you. I remember it because it was epic. I remember it because it transformed my life. I remember it because it was devastating. It was no big deal to you, so you wouldn't remember that. And then as sophomores, she moved schools, and I never saw her again. Not up until recently. In the midst of chaos, in the midst of this hell that this country and the world is going through, she reached out to me on one of my posts, in regards to one of my posts on Facebook. And I never expected her to. I never thought that she would. We've been friends on Facebook for maybe a couple years. I never brought up to her what transpired as kids. Never asked her why she stopped talking, what happened to her, where she go, because I never saw her again in our sophomore year. Never brought it up. One day she reached out to me and asked me if I allowed people to, adults. She knew that I worked with kids. She knew that I worked with elderly people. And she commented on one of my posts and asked if I'd allowed adults to come up to meditate and just clear their head. When I saw her post, I was like, oh my God, here we go. I didn't think anything as far as us. And I said, well, I'm gonna contact you on Messenger. I didn't want to have this conversation in public. And so I asked her, I said, can I call you on Messenger so we can talk about this? 'Cause I don't really like texting all that much. I'm not that guy. I'll do it as a last resort. And she's like, yeah. So I called her, and for some reason my Wi-Fi all of a sudden wanted to start tripping. And so then she gave me her number. She's like, just call me in the house on my cell phone. I was like, yeah, I don't get cell service out here, so it has to be Wi-Fi. Third time I tried, it was cool. We stayed on the phone for 6 hours, 58 or 59, 6 hours, 59 minutes. 6 hours and 59 minutes. Non-stop. Laughing, talking. It's as if everything that transpired between the last day that I was able to talk to her in 1984 to now, or until that point when we had that conversation, it's as if that time didn't happen. It's as that can't even talk. It's as if we were able to go back in time and pick up the pieces and continue off where we left it. One decision, one can change transform your life. I would have never reached out to her. Never. Never, ever, ever. I wasn't going to do it. And at that moment, I knew that I still loved her. That moment, 36 years had passed. It's as if God showed me her as this 14-year-old kid, to be able to see her, to recognize her, and then say, nope, I'm taking her away. Because you got some stuff you need to learn. You have some stuff you need to experience. You have some stuff you need to resolve. And so I went through this whirlwind of chaos, of hell, all to this point, to be able to be reunited with her at this point in my life, where I know what I know. I am who I am. I've learned, I've resolved with a lot of things. And now I'm able to love, appreciate, cherish, and honor her the way that she deserves. I couldn't do it back then because I was messed up. And so our love, my love for her, because that ain't mean nothing to her, my love for her was preserved. She was preserved for me. One decision can transform your life. One decision to hook up with the wrong person can be extremely devastating and costly. One decision to hang out with the wrong group of people can change your life. My hope and prayer is that in the midst of all this chaos, in the midst of all this pain, in the midst of all this loss, all this suffering, all this turmoil, that you humble yourself, get in alignment, and make the right choice, the right decisions. Because as long as you make decisions out of anger, out of frustration, out of hatred, it's not going to work out. If you make decisions out of loneliness, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work. May you find the love of your life. May you find that joy that passes all understanding. May you find that peace of mind that you've been looking for. Because you deserve it. You truly deserve it. I love you guys.